Well, welcome back, YouTubers and toy train buffs, to another installment of the Edge of Town layout rejuvenation. I actually had quite a busy week, got a lot done. So without further ado, let's cover some of the highlights. This is one of the earliest projects I started uh, we when I started the renovation of this layout a couple months ago. This was the Plasticville Freight Platform. Oh, those cars, I'm going to talk about those later. But right now, I'm calling this project finished, even though there's a couple other things I want to do to it. But here's what I ended up doing. If you can see that, there are hooks on which to hang things like shovels and coils of rope. There's pile of dunnage, a tool bin, another coil of rope. Then I've got a poster in there, and if I can hold it steady, too much caffeine, or I don't know, not enough. And I got some posters there, and of course the coup de grace, icing on the cake, the pigeons. Cool, huh? And I gave everything a shot of Tester's dull coat to dull all the shiny plastic that was on there. So that area there is the only thing that has stuff glued on. That way I can swap out pallets, barrels, crates, whatever at will. Alright, next I installed this Marx loading ramp. I had a Marx loading ramp on the original layout that I built nearly 20 years ago. That was the kind that slipped under the ties of the track. This one here is integral to the track itself. It was made that way. It was part of a set that came with either a box car or a refrigerator car, and it was Marx's version of an operating car that I'll show you that later. Okay. Next, let's see here. So the Marx loading ramp, platform, what else? I added. I had a couple extra sections of the Marx board fence, so it goes from the grade crossing to the Plasticville passenger platform. I like that. It looks better, I think. Not sure if I'll keep this fence or do something else, but it looks good for now. Billboard corner now has a Marx billboard. Marx made these frames in 3 colors that I'm aware of: yellow, grass green, and a dark green. They also made a lighted version. The billboard itself isn't lighted. What they did was put a little light bulb in a clip inside this base here, and the base kind of glowed. Okay, so, but this is the unlighted version. Then I finally wired the crossing gates. You know, a couple weeks ago I tested the gates and they worked just fine. So as I wired these up, one of them didn't work anymore. I go, what the heck? The wire from the solenoid to the nut and bolt attachments here is extremely thin. I'm serious. It's like the width of a human hair. It's very thin, and it comes off easily. So I'm gonna have to mess with that. Fortunately, I had a third one in the box, and so I hooked it up. Everything worked fine, except that the engine I'm running today kept clipping this thing. So I had to re-drill the holes and get this closer to the edge of the layout. All right. So then I added casters. Now, I've said it before, this layout was built to fit in the back of my Jeep, and when I took it to train meets, all I did was put it on top of a banquet table and run trains. It sat for many years on its side, and when I decided to rejuvenate it the first time around, I said, well, you know, I'm going to put legs on it. And I did. But why I didn't put casters on it at that time, I don't know. Casters have made all the difference in me just moving this around and getting to these back areas and doing what I need to do. I also took the track that had the track piece that had the track connector, the electrical connector, moved it from here to here, and drilled holes in the board so that the wires now run through the board versus over the edge of the layout. I'm thinking of putting a Lionel actuating track here for a Lionel operating car, but maybe that's sometime in the future. And last but not least, for layout updates, is the hill finally got scenic. All I did was took lightweight pre-mixed patching compound and splattered it on the side. It's good for covering styrofoam. It's not super good for photorealistic detailing, if that's what you want to do, and put in really realistic rock texture. It's good enough for toy train layouts. So I did that, and if I could show you that little, see that little stretch in here? My 5-year-old granddaughter did that. We came out here, when was it? Friday, Saturday, somewhere. And we taped off, the two of us taped off the track. We put some newspaper down, and I gave her a tiny bowl with paint in it. She painted it. She sprinkled on the Woodland Scenic's turf, and then she put the white glue water detergent mix over it, and she did an excellent job. I'm so proud of her. She had some very quality Opa time. All right, now those are the updates to the layout itself. Quite a few, actually, huh? Now that loading dock there, like I said, this came with Lionel's, Lionel, what am I talking about? Marx's version of an operating car. Now the loading dock came with the Marline's boxcar, and it came with the Dairyman's product refrigerator car. Farm Master brand. The way it works, look at this, if you can see this lever sticking out, spring loaded. There's a, let's see, you see how that goes? When it's rolling along the layout, the theory is if it encounters an obstruction, that'll bend out of the way and just keep rolling along, no problems. Except that doesn't always work on this layout because a lot of things aren't glued down and there might be some close tolerances. Okay, so as it rolls this way, meets an obstruction, it goes in, clears the obstruction, it comes out. Then, when you want to use it to unload, to operate, you back it up, and I'll show you this when we run the video, run the train. You back it up against the loading dock. This hits the edge of the loading dock, all right, and the door comes open, and a man pops out. It's the same figure, guy holding a crate or whatever, in this car as it is this car. Okay? Marx had a similar set with a cattle car. Open slats, all right? And it didn't come with a loading ramp, it came with a cattle ramp that had like fencing along the side and a ramp leading down ostensibly for the cattle to unload. All right, and same action. You meet an obstruction, the little lever bends in, clear the obstruction, comes back out. When you back it up against the ramp, old Bessie comes out. See that? All right. So these were sold as sets. This one, of course, with the cattle ramp, and the other two with the loading dock. One of the nice things about putting those casters on, by the way, oh, you see this? That's my workbench. Yeah. There's so much junk in this cave. This is my workbench. That's okay. At least I got something. I'm okay with it. It could be worse. Well, it could be worse. It has been worse. Up until I got this thing, I was doing all my work on top of the layout. All right. So what are we running today? We're running a Marx 666 engine. Now, for those of you who are nuts about that number, all right, it's nothing. It's Marx made a 333, a 666, and a 999. I don't know. Someone at Marx had a goofy sense of humor, I guess. I don't know. Doesn't matter. It's just a number on an engine. It has light, smoke. Smokes like a son of a gun. I've got a Union Pacific slope-back tender, Baltimore and Maryland boxcar, the Mar Lines operating boxcar, and we'll open that up. See the guy in there? There he is. He's just waiting to do his job. An Allstate 3-dome tank car. A couple minor cosmetic issues. I got a closed, slat, solid body Santa Fe stock car. And I got a Southern Pacific caboose. I don't have a Union Pacific caboose to go with the Union Pacific tender. So, okay, there you have it. Pardon me. There you have it. Now, let's run this thing. See the eyes go down? They work. Woohoo! Alright. Now let me show you something if I can. If it'll work this time. Hey, folks. I've been rehearsing this now for the last couple of days with this engine and these cars, right? This is not a set, by the way. I should make that clear. This is just stuff I pulled out of the boxes. A couple recent acquisitions, but like the engine is new. I just got that a couple weeks ago. So this is not a set. This is just stuff I pulled out of boxes to run because, you know, you can do that. You can run whatever trains you doggone well please, right? So here's how it goes. Now, let's see if I can zoom in. Of course, I gotta zoom. I gotta film. I gotta run train. I gotta make sure everything stays on the track. Now you see the little actuating arm there, right? I'll back this up. That's it. See that? Alright. The actuating arm engaged the side of the loading dock. It's all spring loaded. The door opens. The little guy pops out. Now you cannot back this train up anymore. The actuating arm prevents that from happening. It only goes so far. But this is Marx's version of an operating car. Lionel's version, of course, is totally different. But it's fun. It's toy. I wanted it. I wanted that loading dock on this layout. I had one originally when I built the thing nearly 20 years ago. and I wanted it back. It looks good in this little industrial enclave here, and it's a nice toy train touch. Alrighty, so let's see if we can run this train without incident. Well, by the way, this is like my third or fourth video take of this, because, well, it gave me grief. Alright. Okay, well, that's it for another installment of the Edge of Town Layout Rejuvenation Project. Thank you all for watching. Hit like, subscribe, leave comments, and until next time, auf Wiedersehen, ciao, tschüss, adieu, bye y'all.